Have you ever stopped to think about how cinema has evolved over time? From the first projections by the Lumiere brothers in the late 19th century to today's big blockbusters, the seventh art has undergone incredible transformations. In this video, we'll talk about the most important moments in this journey, from silent film, the arrival of sound and color, the emergence of special effects, cinema as an instrument of manipulation, to digital cinema as we know it today. Get ready for a journey through the history of cinema and let's get started. Over time, many improvements were made to the details and concepts until cinema was known as it is today. It is difficult to define exactly when the first films were created, but some animations made with frames that give a sensation of movement became possible with the creation of the kinematograph by Thomas Edison in the USA, where short films were watched individually. After this, in 1895, the Lumiere brothers created the cinematograph, which most people say was with this device that the concept of cinema was created, as it made it possible to watch films for an audience. The first film screening was held for a group of a few people and presented the audiovisual employees leaving the Lumiere factory, at that time still silent and in black and white. The device, because it was very light and worked through a simple crank, greatly facilitated external filming, allowing the brothers to record thousands of short films. During this period of the beginning and popularization of cinema, all the short films portrayed everyday situations in the lives of normal people. Without any concern for the plot of a story, they only presented normal events and this captivated the public, who were fascinated by modern technology.
Now, I will say about creation of Disney and creation of Oscars. Well, the Walt Disney Company is the largest media group in the world. The company was founded in 1923 by brothers Walt Disney and Roy Oliver Disney. The company began to achieve success with creation of what would be Disney symbol, the Mickey Mouse, created in 1928, which was absolutely success. The company was known for renowned animations such as Snow White, Dumbo, and Alice in Wonderland. With the creation of successful animations, the Disney began to diversify its productions for the 1950s with live-action films, in addition to theme amusement parks. Over the years, Disney also began to acquire several other companies, such as Lucasfilm, Marvel Entertainment, Pixar, and others. The Oscars, or the Academy Awards, is a cinema awards ceremony currently organized as the main ordem of its kind in the world, which was founded in 1927 and had its first ceremony in 1929. However, since 2002, the Oscars have been held at the Dolby Theater in Los Angeles. The winners of category are determined over a vote carried out by members of the Academy that organizes the awards, with currently 9,500 members, choosing the best in the cinema.
In the 30s, cinema passed by a huge transformation in terms of how it used to represent reality. With the 1929 Great Depression caused by the economy break, at the start of the decade, movies tended to make a reflection of all the misery, hunger, poorness, and sadness that combined the crisis. However, past some time, conservative entities bothered themselves with this way of telling histories. As a consequence, a big movement against all these pessimists appeared, taking movies to become a place of reality escapism of the period. Therefore, aspects such as crime and violence were substituted by a happier and more hopeful scenario on the screens. At the same time, Technicolor, a technology that allowed the possibility of recording with colors in such an easier way than used to be at the beginning of the century, was invented in the same decade, and quickly became largely used in the industry when movies started to be, in a greater part, colored. This fact also contributed to cinema movies to appear way more optimistic than they were when normally black and white. All of this, combined, was extremely important to both Americans and people around all over the world to restore their hope in such a precarious scenario, highlighting the power of cinema influence how people think and feel, aspect that was pretty exploited in the following decades, causing a real-world transformation. With the ascent of the Nazi ideology in Germany, the national cinematography industry started to produce movies and videos that, over a few years, contributed significantly to manipulate the mind of the population in a general way. At this point, movies were used to create the idea of superiority of the Aryan race, convincing people to believe that Jews were true criminals in the country, and the only way to make Germans great again would be to solve this problem. Consequently, Hitler had almost no problems to take the power, becoming the democratically elected president. On the other side of Atlantic, however, the same industry in the United States was used to create a big movement against this ideology. There, names such as Charlie Chaplin and Walt Disney were fundamental to make it clear for all the people how problematic the situation was. Moreover, representativeness on the screens was fundamentally increased in American cinema as a way of strengthening the relationships of the United States and other countries, seeking convincing other nations to unite in the fight against that. So, as an example, Carmen Miranda, a Brazilian actress, was, in the period, the highest paid woman in the United States, while Zé Carioca was created by Walt Disney to approach Brazilian and American cultures. Thus, when the United States joined the war directly after Pearl Harbor attack, a great pressure was created around Getúlio Vargas, Brazilian president at the moment, to follow the same steps, and that's one of the greatest causes why he effectively did it in 1942. A few years later, with the end of the war, cinema passed by another huge transformation. Cinematography studios, such as Paramount and Fox, realized that distributing movies was way more lucrative than making them, and that's why they fired hundreds of actors that, from then on, would have to create movies themselves without economic or organizational help from the studios. Therefore, in the spirit, actors and actresses such as Marilyn Monroe become to be worldwide recognized ones. Despite of this huge obstacle, they kept doing a great job in producing high-quality and global admired pieces.
During the 1960s, cinema was made by new movements, such as the French Nouvelle Vague, which sought to break the conventions of classic cinema, featuring directors like François Truffaut and Jean-Luc Godard. We explores no-linear narratives. Another movement that emerges in various parts of the world, especially in Latin America, used cinema was a tool for social and political critique. Now, in the 1970s, after the gold age of Hollywood cinema, the North American cinema faces a strong consumer craze. Well, to get around this problem, Hollywood started to produce films aimed in young audience, following counterculture trends. Another hallmark of this era was the creation of new genres such as science fiction with Star Wars and horror with The Exorcist. We arrived in the 1980 when the concept of blockbuster was consolidated. Was a way of talking about films that made a big box of success. Some examples are Indiana Jones, E.T., and Ghostbusters, along with these independent films, which meant films without the involvement of major companies in this production. These films began to gain space in the market, with directors like Gene Jarmusch and Spike Lee.
There's no doubt about how successful the cinema is as a rich business and as an entertainment, with some movies taking over $1 billion of profit. In the last 30 years, we have followed an amazing increase on the films industry, probably linked to the rising genre of animations like Pixar movies and heroes. One of the most striking examples on how much the cinema grows culturally in influence, getting over records after records, was the ascending Marvel's shared universe, the MCU. The first phases of the Marvel Cinematographic Universe was rocking on all the screens in every cinema room, each movie making more than $1 billion
A combination of new technology and heavy advertising have turned this industry into one spotlight of dissemination of massive culture. The globalization mixed outrageous kinds of culture and histories and turned it into massive culture. And the way people of Japan, Germany, South Africa, and Brazil watch similar movies and equal histories, all of them produced on the eyes of North Americans film directors. Ridden against the flow and becoming a new trend, the streaming has been accessible for a lot of people, and the profit of premiere movies are been really affected based on the debut of them on the streaming platforms. With popular prices, the streaming has gained space on the films industry. It's clear that discovering new methods of producing and watch movies will change the way we taste those experiences and enjoy the films we like. The 21st century are only beginning and it have a lot of ways to improve yet. For sure, we're gonna be there to see where we will turn.